You read the title? Time to lose all my credibility. It's confession time. Yes, I binged watched Honey Boo Boo for the past week or two, and let me tell you, for a while I wanted to avoid this show like the plague. Mostly because one day out of curiosity, I tried watching an episode of Toddlers and Tiaras, but I could barely get past the 2-minute mark. I'm really anti-child beauty pageants, although really beauty pageants in general, if you want to know more. I highly recommend the Last Week Tonight with John Oliver episode on beauty pageants.
And just a reminder to those of you at home, it is the year 2014 and I am a fully clothed man standing in front of a line of women in swimsuits awaiting judgment. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And also to see TLC take a child from that show and give them their own spin-off show only makes it seem worse. What was Honey Boo Boo about? It's about a girl named Alana Thompson, aka Honey Boo Boo, which is her stage name from what I can gather. And her life with her redneck family. No, like, they even acknowledge they're a redneck family a lot. To be fair, though, it is only in the first season where she actually does a few more beauty pageants, but after that, she just drops it. Good for her, at least you're not doing that, but still, you did this show. Good on you. But the show lasted 4 seasons, because, well, if you guys don't look at celebrity gossip, and I don't know why I do, there's a scandal going on right now. Mama June is dating a child molester. And yeah, this can only lead to custody battle after custody battle and lawsuits. And TLC is now saying that they're investigating, even though they really should have done this since Toddlers and Tiaras. I'm sure there were pedos in that audience. Like, really, like, guess they're learning, though. Well, my main question before going into this show, taking the deep plunge into the rabbit hole, so to speak, is why were people fascinated with this show? There are a few things, quite a few things, but I'll narrow it down to 3 things. 1, it makes them feel better about themselves. 2, there never really was a show like this before on reality TV world. And, you know. And 3, because it's sensational entertainment. Well, the real reason people watch reality TV is either for fantasy fulfillment, like dating shows. It makes them feel happy for the people going through struggles, such as, this usually applies to makeover shows like Extreme Makeover or Biggest Loser especially, but mostly it's because they feel smart, or at least their life could be a lot worse. In the case of Honey Boo Boo, well, most of the family in this show is dumb and gross. Also, Honey Boo Boo's cute. People like cute. And she's sassy. People tend to like that as well. But it's mostly because they see these rednecks and how gross they are. It's a good icebreaker to start when you're meeting people, or when you talk to friends. Hey, you think it's bad when I fart in bed? At least I don't fart in public and make a big deal about it. What's more is, this family's, well, not very rich. I mean, they're far from Kardashian country. They're more like the rest of us. Some of us. Not me, though. This leads me to point 2. Think back about reality TV in the past, if you will. I'm talking early 2000s up to maybe 2005, 6. I mean, you have your dating shows like The Bachelor, The Ultimate Job Hunt like The Apprentice, The Biggest Loser, and Extreme Makeover, both the Body and Home Edition. Usually when reality TV tries to focus on the average Joe or Jane, they're usually really broke. Like, really broke. Like, in the case of Home Edition, where the houses they built were for the families that were big and couldn't afford to fix their homes for financial reasons, or if they have a sick family member. And then the housing crisis happened, and many were not able to pay back their mortgages on those very nice, expensive houses. Whoops. Or they at least involve a celebrity, to say the least. Honey Boo Boo is one of the few where... God, I feel so stupid saying it. Honey Boo Boo is one of the few where it was focused on the somewhat average family. I feel like everyone has at least met families like hers, or at least mutual friends that know people like that. It's more common. Yeah. I mean, look at Mama June. She was a teen mom and wound up having 4 girls. Mama June budgets and is a coupon addict. We have plenty of those. They have family drama like, oh boy, the M word scares me. Or, your wedding is going to cost how much? Yeah. Plus, even though it's supposedly reality TV, reality TV has several toxic tropes, so to speak. Mostly painting women in a very bad light, and extra points if they're not white. Oh, and gay people? They barely exist. And when they do come out with gay people, they're the over-the-top kind. You know, the gay people that your crazy religious family members think of when you tell them you have a gay friend. However, in Honey Boo Boo, she had a gay uncle known as Uncle Poodle. That's nice. He wasn't over the top. They didn't paint him too much like the typical gay stereotype, but he was there. And when you hear about Southerners, what's the first thing that comes to mind? People usually assume that they're close-minded, religious, Bible-thumping, but most of all, homophobic. Honey Boo Boo's family weren't like that, from what I saw. They were just like, hey, Uncle Poodle, come live with us later on. And they were okay with it. They were just like, hey, you're gay? Cool. Even the popular gay magazine outpraised the show in this aspect. Yeah, that's a big win. But really, the biggest reason people are watching is pretty simple. Kind of redundant from what I'm saying. It's reality TV. Don't lie to me, audience. You all have watched at least one reality TV show in your lifespan. I've watched this, the first season of Kardashians, and then I got really stupid. And back when reality TV was more prevalent, now I watched The Apprentice and Extreme Makeover Home Edition, and yeah. And thanks to the previous 2 reasons, it applies to complete the answer. Despite its very problematic tropes and outcomes, it's a form of entertainment, and people will still watch it. Much like any other form of entertainment, whether it be fictional TV, or films, or books, or music, you know, the usual. But reality TV is also like another thing. The news, in which it can be very sensational.
76 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand?
And what's more sensational than local news or cable news? Entertainment news. What program is always updating with the celebrity gossip in the most awful way possible?
MZ.
Yeah. And they're really milking it with the recent Honey Boo Boo scandal. Ugh. Although they're more in for the Kardashians, but damn, they're having a field day with this scandal. TMZ wasn't as big when reality TV was just getting popular and in its peak. It only started nearly 10 years ago, and around that time, as I said before, reality TV was at their peak. At least, the local channels, considering like ABC, Fox, CBS, NBC, the big ones, etc. But after that, now were all the reality TV shows, or at least the very popular ones. Cable. Sure, we still have our American Idols, Big Brother exists still, so does Survivor and The Amazing Race. But now all the popular ones are from cable, such as Honey Boo Boo, but now it's canceled. The Kardashians are still running very strong, and Duck Dynasty. And as much as reality TV is different, or at least having different stars, it's still very much the same despite the focus shifting. We still like seeing train wrecks, especially when they're on the super rich side, or now in this case, the super poor, super redneck side. In fact, you can say it's our modern day freak show. Much like Joseph Merrick and Saartjie Baartman, our reality TV stars, we don't so much admire, but mock. Are there really people out there that legitimately look up to the Kardashians? Like, do they mean that in a non-ironic sense? Like, what's the numbers on that, people? Most people just like watching it to mock them. It's much how people mocked the Jersey Shore when it was big. Yeah, by the way, speaking of the Kardashians, there's an article which is a very good read, which I will leave down below. Unless you've already read it, considering the paper covers all over the internet. But it didn't break the internet. Ha! It's clearly inspired by the freak show of yesteryear. But in the end, it's reality TV, and it's here to stay. Because you are an awful human being, and I'm an awful human being. We are awful for making people like this popular, not really admiring them for what they do or don't do. We just like mocking them and making those monkeys dance. Dance. Monkey dance. I highly recommend the book, Reality Bites Back, The Troubling Truth About Guilty Pleasure TV. It's written by Jennifer L. Posner, and she has a lot of good things to say about the subject. Mostly applying to, like I said, the peak of reality TV, but it is a very good read when you want to deconstruct it. And, yeah, I kind of want to see, she briefly mentions toddlers and tiaras in this, but, this was written in 2010, so it's a little dated. I'd like to see her do an update on it, because it has changed quite a bit looking back at it. Yeah, I'll come with the next episode.